Hi, so we're continuing our learning of Mishnah Shabbat, and now we're dealing with the malacha of chibui, of extinguishing. We're still talking about the Shabbos lamps, the Shabbos lights, and different issues that may come up with them, and now we're talking specifically about issues of chibui, of extinguishing in relation to those Shabbos lamps. So this is Daled. 4. Lo yikov adam shefoferet shel beitza v'mal'ena shemen v'itnena al pi haner b'shvil shetehei menatefet afilu hi shel cheres. So one may not pierce an eggshell, fill it with oil, and put it over the mouth of a lamp, so that the oil will drip, even if the container is of earthenware. So what is this talking about? Okay, so this is some kind of contraption. So we know that removing the oil would be an issue. It says in the Talmud that removing the oil from a lamp, from the Shabbos lamp, would be an issue because that is an act of extinguishing. You're making it so the fire will go out sooner, will be taken away from the strength of the flame. So that would be a problem. And this is some kind of, this egg that it's talking about, is some kind of contraption where a little bit of oil drips a little bit at a time into the area where the wick actually is. So the fuel source is dripping gradually. Okay, so why is there a need to mention this if you already know that removing oil is a problem? It's extinguishing. So this is talking about maybe someone would see that there's two parts. It's not exactly connected. It's not one single entity, and they see that the oil is coming from a different piece. And then maybe they think that, oh, actually in this case it is okay to remove some of that oil because it's separate, it's not attached. It's not the same issue of you're directly taking away the fuel source from that contraption. But no, the rabbis say no. Even if you have this gradual dripping kind of two-part contraption, it's no good. The Rabbi Yehuda matir. So Rabbi Yehuda says we're not worried about people not being able to make the distinction. The rabbis are concerned that people will say, oh, I know that you can't remove oil from a single Shabbos lamp, but this contraption where it's two separate parts, maybe I can. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't have that concern that people won't know the difference and people will therefore make a mistake. Aval im chibra hayotzer mitchila mutar mipnei shehu chli echad. However, if the potter attached it originally, it is permitted because it is a single vessel. So if something was made, a Shabbos lamp was made this way, that oil gradually drips from a separate area, but it's all one single contraption, that's the way it was professionally made by the potter or whoever else, that it was really intentional, and just part of the way the contraption works, then it is fine, even according to the rabbis. So they would then agree with Rabbi Yehuda. Lo yimaleh adam et hake'ara shemen v'yitnena b'tzad haner v'yiten rosh hapatila b'tocha b'shvil shetehei sho'evet. One may not fill a bowl with oil, put it beside a lamp, and put the end of the wick into the bowl, so that it will draw out oil. So this is kind of like back to the two parts thing. This is a very makeshift kind of contraption that's doing the same thing effectively, that the fuel source is gradually coming from a different area. That would also not be acceptable. The Rabbi Yehuda matir, and Rabbi Yehuda says that this is okay. He doesn't have the same concern of people not being able to make this distinction. He assumes that people will know in both cases. It doesn't matter if it's one lamp or if it's a two-part contraption where the oil gradually comes in. Either way, you're not allowed to remove the oil because that's an act of extinguishing, whether that is the whole question of whether that's biblical or rabbinic in that case, if you're causing it to eventually be extinguished but not doing it immediately, or maybe it has to do with maybe there's also a muksa issue, an issue of this oil was set aside specifically for the lamp, and even if the lamp were to go out on its own, you wouldn't be able to use it. So it could be relating to that kind of issue surrounding not using the oil. But either way, you're not allowed to remove any oil from a lamp, whether it's a single lamp or this two-part kind of lamp, whether that's makeshift contraption. Maybe if it were made professionally that way, and then it's really comparable to a single entity kind of lamp. So that's what we're dealing here with, the issue of extinguishing, and we're going to continue our learning of these issues of questions of the Shabbos lamps and of other Shabbos questions next week. Okay, thank you. Bye.